most important thing for anybody to learn is that if an opinion has to be silenced for another idea to flourish, then you're in a psyop.
I've seen a lot of that in the past couple of years, too.
The interesting thing is what that does with our social media kind of hacking that tribal part of our brain. If all of us were sitting here in a room and we see someone get pulled up in front of the whole crowd and then smacked in the face, embarrassed, and then tossed out of the room, and I was about to go up on stage and do that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be quiet now. I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
So now we're using that tribalism as, I'm going to take this person and I'm going to make an example out of them to prevent everybody else from stepping up. I'm going to increase fear associated with being socially outcast.
Wait, what was that again? One more time. Welcome to the transparency.
The most important thing for anybody to learn is that if an opinion has to be silenced for another idea to flourish, then you're in a psyop.
I've seen a lot of that in the past couple of years, too.
The interesting thing is what that does with our social media kind of hacking that tribal part of our brain. If all of us were sitting here in a room and we see someone get pulled up in front of the whole crowd and then smacked in the face, embarrassed, and then tossed out of the room, and I was about to go up on stage and do that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be quiet now. I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
So now we're using that tribalism as, I'm going to take this person and I'm going to make an example out of them to prevent everybody else from stepping up. I'm going to increase fear associated with being socially outcast.
Like all good investigative journalists, if you're going to cover a topic, you have to research. I was covering the Turtleboy criminal case, and therefore I want to go back to the beginning. And when I went back to the beginning, it does not start with the murder of John O'Keefe in January of 2022. My research began in November of 2021. Turtleboy proudly says that he has a Facebook account titled Clarence Emerson. Well, this Clarence Emerson account, he has group chats, and this one is blog.dat, D-A-T. I'm guessing it is a mod chat with his mods. And unbelievably, I'm able to see that this mod chat shows Turtleboy directing his mods, or who's ever in this chat. He fabricates evidence to make a fake account on Facebook to threaten himself using his own children for the purpose to get a restraining order or a no contact order, or quite possibly for witness intimidation criminal charges to be pressed against another person. This is obviously moving at a very fast pace here, but then the video slows down where I walk it through all of the back and forth with Turtleboy, aka Aidan Kearney, with the members of this mod chat, showing how they are meticulously going through the steps in which to make this fabricated evidence real, so much so that it gets in the hands of Aidan's attorneys who were working on a case for him that he was a part of with this whoever. At the end of the day, this is what happened to me back in 2021, 2022, 2023. All of these things were happening to me that I am literally witnessing when I'm doing this investigative research on who is Turtleboy? Why would anybody come after Turtleboy? Turtleboy's so innocent. He was just backing Karen Reed and wanted to make sure that the corruption in this town didn't stand. All of these things that he claims that he was doing for Karen Reed, not for her, but because he saw her story and, wow, I can't believe that they would just frame an innocent woman like this. Well, I have a completely different view, and I want to show you my view and how I see all of this unfolding here in the near future with Turtleboy's criminal case. but it definitely starts here with a pattern of behavior, Turtleboy fabricating evidence in November of 2021 before he ever knew who Karen Reed was. So who is Turtleboy? Welcome to the transparency. At some point, you're going to have an opinion on the video. Thumbs it down, thumbs it up. You have an opinion, make yourself known. Who is Ryan McLean? Clarence says, my lawyer in the... Ryan emailed him that yesterday. Ryan is threatening your kids? What the fuck? LOL. Let's put it this way. Who is Turtleboy? A role model? A fair dude? Is he honest? Does he have integrity? Is he a troll? Is he a bully? Is he brave? Well, this is Truth and Transparency. Here we go. Take a look.
Affidavit of Lieutenant Brian Tully, DLT. All right.
All right. So I've been waiting to see this. This is the affidavit, and we're talking all about the criminal case here. The criminal case against Turtleboy. Is it legit? Is it not legit? Is it the byproduct of corruption against Turtleboy? If you guys read the description in this video, I clearly state a lot of things. But in order to understand where Tully's coming from, the Massachusetts State Police are coming from, in order to understand the 88 pages that Bettero filed, in order to understand the filing period, in order to understand his arrest, you have to understand first that Turtleboy made enemies. He made enemies way before the Karen Reed case came about, and the name Karen Reed was, John O'Keefe was murdered. And that enemy, in his eyes, that he plays, I don't know, games with, whatever he wants to refer to it as, Kate, Peters, whatever. And And it's not just her that he has gone toe to toe with. He states it in his reporting that his reporting gets people put in jail. Okay. He reports on things and it gets people put in jail. That's just what it does. So when he says like, yeah, you should be afraid of me because I think anybody should be afraid of jail time. I'm like, yeah, okay. I see where you're coming from with that. Okay. Well, until I saw 2019 and the fact that we are going to fabricate evidence to try to fuck with somebody's First Amendment, their freedom. I'm like, wait a second. That seems pretty pretty fucked up. Okay. And then you're going to use someone's kids. Wait, your own kids. So again, everybody can have their different ways to do anything, but at the end of the day, if you're going to be an investigative journalist, you need to know the laws in your state. If you travel to other states, you need to know the laws in their state. And here, so in understanding Turtleboy and what he's facing and the charges, you have to understand the Massachusetts statutes. Okay. We were amazed when we went ahead and looked at, okay, what are the wiretapping laws in Massachusetts? Did you guys know that if you go to the Boston Garden, it's where like the Celtics play, and you watch a game there and you want to video record stuff, you guys know that you cannot even, the audio that you would be taking from being at the Boston Garden of your, filming or whatever, and other people are there, like that's wiretapping. Okay. If you were out and about, if you have your phone out and you're making a TikTok and you're on, I don't know, at a public park, okay, or you go up to somebody at a public place and you, hey, start recording them. Think about what he did to Tristan Morris, okay? That is actually in violation of Massachusetts wiretapping statutes. You cannot do that. So here, Turtleboy has come out and said numerous times that they've all weaponized. He's done it. Kate Peters, they all do it. They're cop callers. Okay. They're trying to get each other in trouble. Like that's the game they play. I don't know how that's a game, but that's what they do. And fabricating things though, to then make something happen, I just couldn't even believe it. Like, wow. Like, think about that. I'm in a group message with people and I'm saying, hey, I need your guys' help. This is what I'm going to do. And I don't even have to tell you guys what I'm going to do. I just post pictures and you guys already know what I'm going to do. And that's what he said in his group message. Wow, it's so great that I don't even have to, you guys already know what I'm thinking. The people in that group message with Turtleboy already knew what he was thinking, that we're going to fabricate, take pictures of this fake account that I created on Facebook to make it seem like that it's this dude and he's threatening me with my children. Okay. And the what isms or what about this or but this happened to me, or but they're doing this to me. That argument is going to fail every day and twice on Sunday in the courtroom. Okay. In case anybody doesn't know, but when you are the one that's on trial for something that's criminal, okay, it doesn't matter what this person or that person did to you. For example, Chris Albert is guilty. This person right here needs some Z's. Chris Albert is guilty of wiretapping and has never been charged. What does that have to do with Turtleboy? I need you to stay in with the arguments, in with the case, okay? For example, here it is. He's reading off, this is Detective Lieutenant Tully's affidavit. Prior to reading this off, he read off and he sat for just a little bit because he said in quotes that he was bored. This was boring to him. His case bores him. Wow. You're asking people to donate to you, but your own case bores you. Yawning. Here, this is Tully.
At the time, I was the commanding officer. Not anymore.
That's the part that he wants to talk about. He's proud of that. At the time. He doesn't have anything to do with that, though. That's not what his case is about. He focuses on stuff that does not matter. Karen Reed is the reason that he's not the commanding officer anymore, not Turtleboy. But that's what he thinks that this is about. That's what he wants to point out.
All right, Mello was hired.
He skips over the fact that he says about 6 months into it, he's like, at the time of this the initiation of this investigation of Aidan Kearney, aka Turtleboy, in May/June of 2023 for intimidation of witnesses in the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, I was the commanding officer of the Norfolk District Attorney State Police Detective Unit. About 6 months into that investigation, so which would have been in September of 2023, District Attorney D.A. Morrissey engaged attorney Kenneth Mello as a special prosecutor for the Kearney matters. Okay. I have reviewed what is captioned as an affidavit in support of motion submitted by attorney Mark Betterow in support of a motion to dismiss indictments pending against Aidan Kearney on various grounds, or in the alternative for an evidentiary hearing.
Sir, not anymore. All right, Mello was hired.
I submit this affidavit in opposition to the motion. In paragraph 29 of the Betterow affidavit, and he's referring to the Betterow affidavit moving forward as BA, not Brian Alberts, but Betterow affidavit, the defendant complains that the grand jury was never asked to return an indictment for receiving evidence of an illegal wiretapping of Stephen Scanlon, and suggests that the presentation of such evidence was part of a nefarious scheme to dirty up the defendant. It was, in fact, the intention.
All right, so he read the motion.
To later present further testimony by Mr. Scanlon, but concern arose as to whether a Norfolk County grand jury had appropriate jurisdiction to bring that particular indictment. You have to have personal jurisdiction over somebody. You have to have jurisdiction in which that office is then going to go and proceed with the prosecution of you.
I submit.
So this is all called, when like he's writing this, it should be like a big aha moment for people that aren't understanding the law, aren't understanding how it works. Okay. So this is why they didn't pursue the charges for wiretapping, because they questioned if they had jurisdiction over it because of where Scanlon was located when this occurred.
This affidavit.
And Mr. Scanlon having been in Suffolk County at the time. So further presentation was held. Remember, in the Turtleboy speculation of Mark Betterow said that it was to dirty him up. And if you weren't even planning on going about this, then why didn't you even mention it? Right. It was just to dirty him up. Okay. And then they said that it must have been also because of the information that you got from Kate Peters must have been bad evidence. And that's why you were like, oh God, we can't go forward with this. Well, that's not true. It's not that at all.
Affidavit in opposition to the motion. The defendant complains that the grand jury was never asked to return an indictment after receiving evidence of an illegal wiretapping of Steve Scanlon, and suggests that the presentation of such evidence was part of a nefarious scheme to dirty up the defendant. It was, in fact, the intention to later present further testimony of Mr. Scanlon, but
it said further testimony by Mr. Scanlon. So he did testify. It wasn't just Detective Lieutenant Tully. Okay. Scanlon testified. It was about doing further testimony.
Concern arose as to whether a Norfolk County grand jury had appropriate jurisdiction to bring that particular indictment. What? Because Mr. Scanlon, having been in Suffolk County at the time, so further presentation was held in Abion.
He doesn't understand that. He said, what? Well, hopefully his lawyers have told him.
While that issue was considered, a situation that extended through the natural expiration of the then sitting grand jury. So what's up with, wait a minute.
He's already read this.
So why didn't,
How I know is because when you actually pulled up the document, it was already to the page 30. It was already all the way to the end of this when he pulled up this document. And it's where it was left off. And so he has already gone through this.
when they, why, if you weren't sure about whether or not this should take place in Suffolk or Norfolk County, then why have them in? Why shouldn't you have figured that out before?
They've already known that. And that was already a point of contention. Also, it would be something that you would also put in the affidavit if you wanted to be mentioning that.
And secondly,
But instead, Mark Betterow went the route of you didn't continue on with Scanlon because the evidence that Kate Peters gave you about this, you realized was bogus. But that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Scanlon testified at the grand jury. For anybody's information out there, Kate Peter did not. Kate Peter is somebody that used to work for Aiden Kearney, or I don't know if he was officially hired and employed, however that worked, but they had a falling out, and those two have been at each other ever since, which way proceeds the Karen Reed. It proceeds John O'Keefe being found dead on the lawn.
if they're saying that they're not sure about the jurisdiction, then how can they be so sure of the jurisdiction with me? Because 95% of the things I'm indicted for are things that I said on my YouTube show. And where do I do my YouTube show? From which county? Worcester County. Not North.
I think that would actually be federal if it's over it'd be like cyber. So that's no. They're very specific of what they're going after. And I believe that he knows this, but he's got to sell this to you guys. They're very specific of what Norfolk County is going after because of jurisdiction. What do we have jurisdiction over him for? What areas and where was he doing X, Y, and Z? Also, where are the people that are getting intimidated, harassed, threatened, all these things, okay? Where are they?
Norfolk County. So why am I being indicted in Norfolk County if you're unsure about the jurisdiction of this thing?
No, they're not unsure about the jurisdiction of anything. It was that specific situation. Again,
Worcester County troopers I've been criticizing and exposing are the same ones who are. The defendant raises various issues about my role and presentation to the grand jury of all relevant video excerpts from his online presentations that were played out. With two exceptions, the Scanlon video and the before and after Gattani videos, wherein the Commonwealth alleged that the defendant altered the original video to evade wiretapping charges. Well, that's been dismissed. All of the video excerpts were found.
if you came on my show, I would ask, was that true? Did you quickly replace one with the other? I would have never asked him about this ever until I saw what I played for you guys at the beginning of the video, what he did in November of 2021. The capabilities of now Turtleboy have completely changed, in my opinion. What he is capable of, what he has done in the past, patterns of behavior.
By me online. He just found him. He just been dismissed. All of the video excerpts were found by me online. He just found him.
He just found him. Turtleboy in one breath says, I am so famous. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows who I am. Everybody watches my channel. I go, I'm shaking hands with babies, kissing babies. But he literally asks his audience, oh, you just found these videos? And literally the audience is like, yeah, you're right. Oh my God. What? So which is it? Are you famous and everybody watches your channel and everybody's watching this? Or how did they find this? Regardless, it doesn't change anything.
You just.
So you're not arguing what's on any of it, right? It's just, how did you find this? Because you think that there's some law out there, some Massachusetts statute that says citizens can't bring forth evidence or can't, hey, call up the police and say, hey, I think somebody's committing a crime. You need to look at this. There is something against people that Aiden has gone after in the past. Is there a statute out there that says two people can't say, hey, dude, this is what happened to me. Oh my God, he did the same thing to me. Oh my God. Hey, or calling up somebody and letting them know, hey, this is what he's put me through in the past. I'm just giving you a heads up that you guys are in for X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. You guys think that there's something wrong with that? I don't believe that there's anything wrong with him going around and notifying people of the fact that the cops are corrupt and protesting. Just like there's nothing wrong with your neighbors, helping out your fellow neighbors to say, hey, this is what he did to me, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm seeing done to you, blah, blah. So he's crying because of what? Who did what? It's not about how anybody got anything. This is a criminal matter, okay? How you get evidence, okay? They think that there's an issue with how they got it. How did you get this? Well, listen to him. He's going to say, yeah, and that's a problem. That's a problem how you got something. I cannot believe that his lawyers aren't sitting him down, because that's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Except, didn't we find one of the videos that was like not online? I forget. It's been so long. I've been distracted by other things.
Right there. I've been distracted by other things. Cannot believe that he's saying this while meanwhile asking people to donate to his defense fund. I've been distracted by other things. What is more important than being involved in your criminal case and handling your criminal case with your criminal defense attorneys? And the team that in October of 2023, when Tim Bradel took the case, he did a press release. And Turtleboy was on a live and was so proud to say, oh, this is Bradel's press release. It's just released. Here, let me read it all off to you. He talks about he has the best team of investigators and he has the best experts. And then literally I hear just yesterday when I'm doing my research that the person that found the episodes being renamed was Meredith. Your best investigators, and you're paying 6 figures, and Meredith found that?
I am told, what's this? As previously noted, the Scanlon video has not resulted in an indictment. And the relative...
It's called, and the relevant. Everything has to be relevant to your case, Aiden. In a criminal proceeding, irrelevant material is not admissible. Okay? It's not relative. Relevant is the word. So, as previously noted, the Scanlon video has not resulted in an indictment. And the relevant Gaetani indictment, I am told, he says, was on or about October 22nd, 2025. And that's because it was dismissed.
Gaetani indictment, I am told, had a null pros. Yeah, because she sued your ass. She sued your ass. She came through. And you got...
She came through. What does that mean, Aiden? She came through. She took one for the team. She helped you out. I don't know what she came through means, if not what I'm inferring. She came through. She must have had some really good advice there.
You guys had to recuse yourselves. That was not... Hurricane Gaetani was not something I was expecting. I was not expecting that one, but...
I don't believe that at all.
It came through. And it fucked everything up. Mello...
For who? Here we go. Mr. Mello is not electronically sophisticated and was not familiar with the audio/visual technology in the grand jury room. And therefore, he tasked me with playing the video excerpts entered into evidence for the grand jury. I had operated that equipment during witness testimony on previous cases. Makes sense. You guys talk about how he's 90 years old. I wouldn't expect him to know how to use an MP4 player.
Mr. Mello is not what? Mr. Mello is not electronically sophisticated. Then why are you putting him in charge of a prosecution that revolves the internet? Remember?
Oh my God. That's what he wanted to just talk about. Why are you putting him in charge of what? Let me just back this all up. How about the Karen Reed case? Was Alan Jackson sitting there switching to the exhibits, or did Alan Jackson have a guy who just made associate, by the way? What's his name? Yeah. Firing up your exhibits.
Couldn't bring the whole internet to court. Oh, touchdown Bama. God damn it. Me with playing the video excerpts entered into evidence for the grand jury. I had operated that equipment during witness testimony on previous cases. To facilitate my finding the correct videos at the appropriate time, I grouped them into electronic folders by alleged victim or topic, and I named the videos to accurately describe their content. But the problem is, you guys said you didn't say that. You said that.
What do you mean they didn't say that? You have the grand jury testimony, so you know what they said because you have the transcripts.
They're the titles, and they weren't.
Where not one time did Betterow ever say that Lieutenant Tully said these were the titles of your videos. Show me that.
The defendant misleadingly represents that I apparently edited and renamed various of the defendant's videos and falsely alleges that the special prosecutor Miller and I used this altered evidence to mislead the grand jury. That's exactly what you did.
How was the grand jury misled?
My alleged editing consisted of selecting relative excerpts from the defendant's online presentations and presenting them in full, those excerpts in full. But you didn't play the whole show.
Okay, perfect. Literally on October 22nd, 2023, Aidan Kearney does a live episode, and he is telling people, hey guys, it really is not helpful for you guys saying that you want to help and you're going to be a volunteer and you want to go find me these clips. I need clips of this is this. But it's not helpful when you guys want to send me all of the transcript from the whole entire live. That's a waste of fucking time. And then I got people that say they're going to do something, and then half of y'all don't do anything, and then you really fuck us. Then here he's saying we need to play the whole thing. We need the full thing. We need the full thing. October 22nd, 2023. No, I don't know why you're sending me this shit. I don't know. You just need to send me the little clip. Okay. There's a thing it's called cross-examination. Aiden, and what you're going to do is you get to see all of the little clips that they're going to play, the little evidence that they have against you. And what you're going to be able to do with every single person that testifies is you're going to be able to cross-examine them. And you're going to be able to, just like Karen Reed's defense team took the body-worn camera that wasn't showed to certain officers at certain times, on cross-examination was shown to those officers by Alan Jackson or Yannetti or whoever turn it was to do the cross-examination. And they played the certain clips to give it your narrative, their narrative, whatever you're going to say. Okay. That you're totally taking this out of context. Okay. That's what you're going to do. Again, the purpose of a grand jury, all right, if hand sandwiches and they do get indicted off the grand jury is because there is no cross-examination during that time. And it is curated to X, Y, and Z. Okay. But no, the fanciful language by Mr. Betterow that this was that these were edited clips, or that this was the jury thought that the jury thought, okay, everyone's testifying to how often you're going live and how long your broadcasts are and that you're doing constant stuff. You think that a reasonable jurist thought that a 10-second clip consisted of your live broadcast? No. There's no reasonable jurist that thought that. And the names of them, if it showed, now you're the only person that knows this, look at your thumb drive, plug it into the computer, pull up the exhibit, and see if anywhere on the exhibit that was shown to the jury that they could actually see, if it said visible and said episode this and was written and it said that language, what they were retitling this as. For somebody to do it personally, and for me, so I can, hey, when this person says go to this, I'm clicking on this, and that's what you're asking me to play. Okay, because I'm just titling it for my purpose so that I can upload these videos. Okay. You need to actually plug in your little thumb drive. You need to pull up the exhibit, and you need to see what was visible on the display for the grand jurors. And then if they could see a new title, then you got an argument.
If one of Kearney's
You're welcome.
online presentations ran, for example, 2.5 hours and covered various topics, I chose the statement that the Commonwealth believed was relevant evidence. So you cherry picked it.
I think that's amazing that he thinks that's cherry picking. If I talk about Marge Simpson on my live broadcast, that is not relevant to the proceeding, nor would it be shown to the jury. If I talk about multiple cases during one live broadcast, I'm only going to be showing the portion that's relevant. Now, Aiden is under the, you're going to hear it from his own mouth on what he's going to say here. That's not cherry picking, okay? That is not the definition of cherry picking. Relevant evidence. What would you like me to show you, or the jury? And he's saying the jury needed to hear the whole thing because.
Okay, duly noted. As to the claim that the Commonwealth tried to mislead to the grand jury as to his intent, I note that the Bettero affidavit makes no attempt whatsoever to describe the defendant's actual intent. My actual intent is to make people laugh, have a good time, tell the truth, right? Expose injustice. That's my intent, Tully, in case you didn't know, is to expose you for being a corrupt piece of shit. That was.
How did you do that? This has nothing to do with Tully. Again, this is his intent.
Whatsoever to describe the defendant's actual intent. My actual intent is to make people laugh, have a good time.
The rolling rally was to make people laugh, have a good time. The rolling rally was to have people have a good time, make people laugh, have a good time. What's next?
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. To make people tell the truth, or for you to tell the truth? I don't understand.
Right. Expose injustice. That's my
expose injustice.
Intent, Tully, in case you didn't know, is to expose you for being a corrupt piece of shit. That was my intent. And I feel like I succeeded in that regard.
I think Alan Jackson and Karen Reed succeeded in that.
The defendant was more candid in speaking to his online audience during describing his intent. Considering, for example, an August presentation of record, Kearney himself addressing people with the bullhorn and saying, "We are trying to affect the jury pool." That is exactly what I'm doing.
I could not believe what's about to come out of this man's mouth.
That's not the whole quote. We're educating the public, right?
Wait, what do you mean that's not the whole quote?
And like, what's wrong?
It doesn't matter what 6 sentences come before that or what 6 sentences come after that. If you said we are trying to affect the jury pool, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what I said 6 sentences before that or 6 sentences after that. I state this.
Educating the public
Then listen to this.
and affecting a potential jury, right? And like, what's wrong with educating the public and affecting a potential jury pool? And by the way, what does it matter?
What's wrong with it? Now, either your lawyers told you to come out here and act like a dumbass and then act like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and what you're doing. Okay. Then you say, well, what's wrong with it? And
Affecting a potential jury pool. And by the way, what does it matter?
What does it matter?
Because at jury selection,
because everybody has the right to a fair trial. And that includes the Commonwealth.
you just weed out the people.
He thinks that voir dire is just going to take care of it. You just weed out the people that already know about it, that already have an opinion about it.
Who already know about it and have a bias. You just get rid of them. I mean, what are we doing here? Who cares what I said?
Who cares what I said? I mean, I literally cannot believe that you have representation right now. But money, money, money. That should tell you guys, lawyers, what are they all about? Money, money, money.
What was played for the grand jury were the defendant's exact words. And the defendant's...
Why isn't he highlighting that? I'd be highlighting that and saying, no, they didn't. No, it was edited. It was chopped up. Kate Peters put a bunch of different my words together and played that. But you don't see that argument because it didn't happen.
Exact images. There was no attempt to mislead. Right. He wouldn't do that.
There was no attempt to mislead your words. Unless that's your argument, which I read 88 pages. I couldn't tell you how many times.
To the extent may have mentioned the titles, I assigned the video selections. It was to create a clear record as to which excerpt the grand jury was viewing at that particular time.
Yeah, for an appeals and for this. But you couldn't be bothered with doing it right the first time, I guess. I don't know. So in an affidavit, Tully is saying, this is why we did this. And this is going to be seen as, yeah, you have to create a clear record.
Noted, the titles I assigned almost invariably taken from the words the defendant himself spoke in the relevant video. During the course of the investigation into Kearney's behavior, various individuals contacted myself.
Right there, number 16. This is why when people want to say, why weren't anybody else that was at the rolling rally arrested? Okay. Well, I'd be asking for discovery to know and to see if anybody else was reported in terms of like, was anybody calling up to say XYZ person, but right here during the course of the investigation into his behavior, various individuals contacted him. Let him read it. Some of the Norfolk DA CPAC members, the special prosecutor, and others to complain about specific online presentations or other acts by the defendant. That is what you're supposed to do. But I would be looking for, if I was Aiden, where are these police reports? Usually I can't just call up and start talking to, I don't know, the district attorney. So I would have to call, hey, this is a non-emergency, but can you send over a patrol guy? I need to make a police report. And then I have to tell them what happened, put it on record, say, I want to be documenting this. Where are those, right?
About online presentations. Who?
He wants to know who. He knows who. You have the discovery. Who? Also, you have the grand jury. Who testified against you, Aiden? Who testified against you? Kate Peters did not testify against you. Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert, Colin, Chris, everybody knows who. Those people went to the grand jury and testified. Now, think about this. Those same people, thank God Karen Reed was not indicted for conspiracy. And I'll tell you why she wasn't, because those people could not go and testify against Karen Reed because Karen Reed didn't do anything to them. And nor could any of their devices, which they tried to get and do, could prove that Karen Reed was in cahoots with this clown. Trust me, they tried to, very, very much so. And a grand jury indicts ham sandwiches, and they couldn't indict Karen Reed. And now this is what should floor every single human being, is that Karen Reed, I bet you, regrets ever speaking to this man. Okay? Ever speaking to this man. Can you imagine being given like literally a golden egg or a golden ticket? Karen Reed, you get to have Karen Reed as your source. How does one person royally fuck that up? Well, the story of Turtleboy will show you how a journalist who claims to be a journalist royally fucked that up. But Karen Reed had so much stress on her. She's being indicted for murder. And then literally has to get, and she realized this early on. And I'm going to show you that how she realized this early on. There's no controlling somebody like this. What he went and rogue and did. Okay. And it's because of what the true intentions were. And we're going to go through this timeline that I have here, but I'm going to let Aiden here.
One such person was Krusty Panties.
Okay, because there you go.
Whom I learned was a rival online personality, not much of a rivalry, who shared.
See, not much of a rivalry. Why is that, Aiden? Because you beat her ass, right? You always beat her. This is a game to Aidan Kearney when it comes to Kate Peters. He just said it's not really much of a rivalry. Well, in the world of sports, when you say that about, it's not much of a rivalry. A rivalry is when, oh my God, it's always back and forth. But at the end of the day, she's your competitor online. Okay. But he says it's not much of a rivalry because I always win. So how can you call it a rivalry? Okay. So Kate Peters is going to get the last laugh here because she's got one fuck of a win right now.
A mutual dislike with the defendant, and from time to time would send me links to various of his presentations. I mean, she has imagine having no life like this. Again, she had nothing to do with the story. And she's.
Wow. To hear this, and then for me to go back and read, imagine what no life is like. That you literally in a mod chat on November 19th, 2021, trolled, made up an account online that was the name of somebody that you were in a case against, and you made an account up online with that person's name and posted threatening posts to you and used your own children in them. What is that? The definition of somebody with a life? Okay.
Sitting there. Wait till you read the letter that she wrote the FBI.
Who cares? Okay. So her reporting is trying to get you in jail, right? Just like your reporting and your journalism is trying to get who in jail? Colin Albert, the Alberts, the people inside that house. What's the difference?
Jennifer McCabe. That's coming out too. She wrote the FBI on behalf of Jennifer McCabe. That's coming out too. You got to see this letter. It was a doozy. It was.
How do you know that Kate wrote on behalf of her?
She just writes to police all day about me. That's all she does.
Okay, exactly. And you knew this. You've known this for how long? Because this is a big rivalry, but not according to you, because you always win, because you're always 10 steps ahead. Because I never thought you were the people that I took down in 2021, 2022, 2023. You are them. And when I did all my research after you wrote and said, you must not know the facts of my case. I know the case against you more than you do against you. The facts. Now, we're not in Never Never Land. So your facts may be different because you live in Never Neverland. I live in Ohio and on Earth.
I was not aware of Miss Peters' 2020 YouTube copyright dispute with Mr. Kearney or his alleged use in that dispute of a forged federal civil complaint. Yeah, right.
Why is he saying, yeah, right? Do you see the date of that? How the fuck would Tully know about a 2020 YouTube copyright dispute? Did you bring it to their attention when it happened? Did your lawyers go and say, hey, here you go. Here you go. How would this man know that? Because remember, somebody that just follows you around all day or watches all your stuff or tries to call the police on you has no life. So now you're like, yeah, right. How does he not know this? Well, how would he?
Of a forged federal civil complaint. Yeah, right. I never viewed the interview with Miss Peters, and neither did anyone bring it to my attention. But I thought you were a detective. I thought you were like thorough. Why don't you know?
Dude, this is the most ridiculous argument I think I've ever heard in my life. What does that have to do with anything? Because I do not know how the law works. They're investigating you, and for what is picketing, witness intimidation. What does Miss Peters doing to you or not doing to you have anything to do with what you're doing to other people? This is why your arguments, when you have people on your panel, you attempt to embarrass them, you attempt to humiliate them, and you deflect, you confabulate, and you can just never. I mean, I don't know if it's part of the ADD that you have, which a lot of people do have, but I don't think that I don't know any side effect that it just distorts reality. But the argument is here, this is your case. Okay. Have you ever heard of jailhouse snitches? You ever heard of murderers taking the stand and saying that, yeah, when I was in the pen with that dude and we were locked up together, dude, the stuff he was telling me, he told me like he couldn't sleep at night. He was waking up from dreams and he was yelling things, and then he was telling me that, he found God and he wished that he would have never, stabbed and killed his wife and blah, blah, blah. Have you ever watched a trial where that's occurred? Do you know what that is? How dare that person testify, and how dare that person say those things? How dare Kate, Peter, or anybody send them a link to your channel? Or even if they're go to this timestamp, you think that that's something. What do you think is wrong with that? Is that a conspiracy? It's someone just providing information to the police. It happens every single day.
About that? Why don't you know? Like, you didn't do any background search on the person who is like sending you critical evidence that you're using. And
what's critical evidence? The critical evidence is the witnesses themselves that stood up, got on the witness stand, raised their right hand and said, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And then they told what you're doing to them and how that's affecting them. That's the critical evidence, coupled with your videos where they're pointing that out, and this is what made them feel that way. Hence going up to Jennifer McCabe at a lacrosse game, at a kids lacrosse game. Now I realize why you have no problem going to kids games, because you had no problem using your own kids in a false distortion of, and you fabricated evidence and you use your own kids to do that. Like, wow. There's no bound. It's called no boundaries.
Part of the grand jury, you just trusted her that she was some sort of honest broker.
Wait a second. She was some honest broker. Yeah, the evidence wasn't bad. But what you're basically saying here is Kate Peters is not credible. Kate Peters isn't going to be saying anything, though. Kate Peters is not testifying against you, and they're not going to be using her at any of the trials against you. You would have to bring, if you want Kate Peters, if you think that she's relevant, and you'd be calling her under direct examination. The Commonwealth is not using her. Okay. You understand that?
Okay. I had no knowledge that she planted a false story about Colin Albert. Had I been aware of such a thing, I would have informed Special Prosecutor Mello. So
again, are your attorneys turning this stuff over to them when they find this stuff out? Because now that you know that this would happen, you need to, hey, you'd like to call the cops, you'd like to go to the police, go send them stuff. But now I have no idea who fed him that stuff.
So you admit it.
So you admit what?
You guys didn't know. You didn't look into her at all.
Look into her how? That has nothing to do with you and what you've.
Yeah. As to any person who contacted me and suggested I should speak to some person who allegedly had information concerning Mr. Kearney's criminal activity.
Have you ever heard the phrase, I don't know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes? Aiden Kearney, poster child. He wanted to play stupid games with Kate Peters and these other people, okay? And he's getting the ultimate stupid prize. Because according to the statutes, everything that he has been charged with, he is guilty of, based on the statutes. Now, do I think that those statutes need to change? Yeah, I do. But not all of them. I'm sorry, but going to Juliana Nagel's house, and literally the words are said that we're here, and that hopefully the neighbors, we want to apply pressure. You use the word pressure to get the neighbors to pressure them into that word alone. You are 1,000% guilty of witness intimidation against Juliana Nagel. Like there's no getting out of that.
Including Kate Peter, my response was the same. That person needs to call me directly.
Call him. Aiden, call him.
As to any person outside law enforcement agencies who sent me links to an alleged online presentations by the defendant, including Kate Peter, having been extensively trained and retrained in cybersecurity and being aware that I was a potential access point to the office system, I made it a practice not to access such links. If the material as described seemed of possible interest, I would request information as to where it could be located online and then go to that source. Except we don't have a single email from Brian Tully in which he asks Kate Peter, where can I find that? Like, where can I find?
And he tells you that in the next thing. He says there are no emails of that. So then what other ways are there to communicate?
At the ball, Alabama systems that they intended to arrest him on October 10th.
Okay, so now here we go. Now this is a moment that I get to do my funny part of something. You ready for this? When I read this, I fucking died. Okay? Died. Dude, right here, Mark Betterow is the, how do I want to say this? Mark Betterow literally looks like the biggest fool for this. I'm shocked. Okay. Ready? Holy shit. Okay. Remember? Oh, Kate Peters is the one that she knew about the arrest of Turtleboy beforehand. And in his 88 pages, he says that on the radio transmission, there's a KP. Okay. Listen to this. I cannot even believe this. This is my Lana gets a laugh right here because this is fucking hilarious.
Is unequivocally false, he says.
Okay. The suggestions that the investigation of Mr. Kearney was outsourced to Kate Peters and that the Massachusetts State Police told her several weeks before Mr. Kearney's arrest that they intended to arrest him on October 10, 2023. Betterow's affidavit at 163. It's unequivocally false. Okay. Kearney's arrest was in conjunction with the execution of a search warrant for electronic devices in his home and car. Okay. I was particularly concerned that there be no leak concerning the execution of that warrant, and the information was thus very closely held. Indeed, I understand from Mr. Mello that I did not inform him of the timing of the execution until the morning it was in progress. Now, we've spoken to numerous law enforcement outlets. This is number one practice, is how when you want to execute something, it's for the safety of everybody involved. Okay.
Interesting. He knew that on October 10th, something was going to happen. October 10th, he knows the deal. Kearney's arrest was in conjunction. All right.
Here we go.
This was something I found interesting.
I don't know what he found interesting, but.
So, tweeted at 9:21 a.m.
Okay.
Oh man, Dr. Turtleboy, I heard you had a rough morning. Fuck your whole bloodline, though, scumbag. And she also like took the day off from work in order to be at my arraignment.
Why do you care about that? Who cares? Why? She took the whole day off of work to be at my arraignment. He wants to know how that's even possible, but then wants to know, and I'll give him this. How did she text me this at 9:21? Okay. I don't know if I believe that she texted him at 9:21. Okay. For all I know, somebody took a screenshot of something in a different time zone. Okay. So that he could have this screenshot. I'm saying this man is delusional, Delulu, and he will do whatever. There is integrity people. There's people with integrity and there's people that do not have integrity. Okay. What I saw in November, okay, is absolute trash. And what I saw in November of 2021, and then what I saw of the true timeline with everything to do with the Karen Reed case is unhealthy, wrong. He inserted himself. He wanted to be the main character. I truly believe that he wanted to get arrested. That's the only way that you'd be able to sue for civil rights. And he wanted his name to be synonymous with Karen Reed. Turtleboy, you're not saying Karen Reed unless you're saying, Turtleboy. You're not. And I'm going to show you an episode early on in October. It's in 2023. I'm going to play this little clip for you. It's when Ted Daniels has a sit down with Karen Reed's parents and Karen Reed's brother about the car getting towed and that timeline when that happened. And then Turtleboy says, really, Ted Daniels, this is what the fuck you do. This is what you got. But I'm going to really no mention of my name. No mention of Turtleboy. What about Turtleboy? What about Turtleboy?
She goes, please make sure to send your fearless leader commissary money, though, at 9:23 a.m.
And I guess those are like tweets or something. Again, here we go.
I was particularly concerned there would be no leak, he says, so I didn't tell anyone about it. While I no longer recall when I informed Mr. Mello, I have no reason to doubt his account. To buttress the fiction.
Okay, listen up.
That Kate Peter had inside knowledge of the defendant's arrest. Attorney Betterow quotes from a radio transmission. Remember when they said they heard KP?
Okay, ready? Okay. In quotes, heard from KP. It was the same thing from yesterday. 2 older kids getting on around the same time, but it was 8:30. Then tells the court that on information and belief, KP referred to Miss Peters, Catherine Peters. And she helped the MSP coordinate Mr. Kearney's arrest by monitoring him beforehand. Okay. Holy shit, this Betterow just totally needs to put his foot in his mouth, or he needs to seriously sit down his client and say, listen here, motherfucker, enough of you and your fucking little peeps creating shit and giving me stuff to go off of or making it seem this, that, or the other. This is absolutely wild who KP really is.
Quotes from a radio transmission. Remember when they said they heard KP? Okay. Remember that getting on the bus? On information and belief, they believe KP referred to Miss Peter.
That's your attorney and you. That's what you believe. And that's what you had Mark Betterow put in an affidavit and you were cool with it.
The current trend in law enforcement is to execute search warrants when the target is outside the residence.
This is 100% true. That's why we have an issue with the Brian Kohlberger case. Why would you? He's going out for runs at 4:00 in the morning, supposedly. Why aren't you taking him then? Right?
thereby reducing both the target's access to weapons and the possibility of evidence destruction, as well as increasing the safety of both the officers and the target. And
exactly. So check this out. So my argument's been in the Brian Kober case, like that goes against everything that they're saying right here, right? The current trend in law enforcement is to execute search warrants when the target is outside the residence. The current trend. When was he arrested? 2023.
imagine saying, first of all, I don't own a gun, and they know that because
It has nothing to do. Listen to what he wants to talk about for this. Imagine saying, like, listen to this.
And imagine them being like, we need to be scared of him.
That's not what they're saying. We need to be scared of him. No, it's called procedure and protocol. Do you know anything about that? No, you clearly do not. Procedure and protocol.
We need to like make sure that this guy doesn't have anyone around because he's dangerous. Like, bro.
God. Saint Turtleboy. Master Spinner. You guys know that from Master Splinter, right?
This is such fiction.
Right there. This is such fiction. Hopefully you can prove that. But you can't.
Nonsense.
You can't, because wait for this.
I did not want to conduct the search while the defendant's children were present.
Wow, I did not want to conduct, and they didn't. The kids were gone. Did you guys see the body cams? I watched the body cams last night to make sure.
Bro, the bus was right there.
No.
And I also did not want to arrest him in front of his children.
Correct, and he
They're
didn't.
so nice.
Oh my God, Sergeant Keith Pantzazolos. KP, listen to this.
Sergeant Keith. Oh, so they have a KP. They found a KP.
They found a KP.
Was tasked with monitoring the defendant prior to the execution of the warrant and informing us of when the defendant's children were safely on the bus.
Wow, imagine that.
So some guy.
So Betterow, you're trying to sit here and tell me that none of Betterow's motherfucking investigators or Tim Bradle's investigators looked into before writing up this, dismissal on who was, I don't know, members of, I can't even. Who are your investigators?
Another KP was stalking me. Okay.
Oh my God, the delusions.
So they have a KP. They found a KP. Was tasked with monitoring the defendant prior to the execution of the warrant and informing us of when the defendant's children were safely on the bus. So some guy.
He wants to be Karen Reed so bad. You were not framed, Turtleboy, and I'm going to prove it.
Another KP was stalking.
Karen Reed woke up on January 29, 2022. Didn't do anything. Nothing in her daily doings, nothing. She didn't do anything. She did not violate the Massachusetts Code any which way, except for she got charged with DUI. Because she violated the Massachusetts State Code, the statute. And she was found guilty of that. The delusions that you think that you are going to not be charged and found guilty of any of these comes only from one way, and that's if you take a plea deal. Karen Reed was found guilty of drinking and driving based off of the statute. When these jurors go back to that room and they look at the statute and what it is,
me. Okay. Sergeant, who the fuck is this? Keith? Who is this loser? Keith Pantanzalos? Keith Pantazalo.
Who is this loser? I'll finish it. Sergeant Pantelos, the KP reference in the transmission Mr. Betterow proffers as evidence of Kate Peters' knowledge and involvement. About 6 hours elapsed between the defendant's arrest and his arraignment at Stoughton District Court. 6 hours. During his booking, the defendant was accorded his right to make a telephone call, which I believe he made to his mother. He did. I watched the body cam.
From lawsuits, he was allegedly attempting to
So this is what he thinks is important. Let me look up who Keith is.
Oh no, he tried to hire undercover trooper. So this guy, okay, no.
Hey, let me tell you what you would want to do here, Turtleboy. If you think that this dude was not working that day, you need to go file a FOIA request. You need to go ask for this man's schedule on that day, okay, and look at his hours worked and see if he was GPSed, okay, and see where he went, what his role was. If he wrote up any reports for that day, there should be a report, okay, of what he was doing. That's what you need to do right now. Okay? Again, you're welcome. Not looking up to tell your subscribers, hey, this Keith dude, he's being sued. Every cop gets sued. Did you not know that?
He's just some hack.
He's just some hack. But that is totally irrelevant. The part that's relevant in what just happened here is that Mark Betterow cannot believe that he did not do his due diligence to find out who the KP was on the radio transmission by looking into seeing who worked your tail.
Anyway. It's just weird.
Anyway, it's just weird. That's not, anyway.
And by the way, Brian Walsh starts Monday, doesn't he? Doesn't that?
Oh, Brian Walsh starts Monday. That's in the middle of reading this.
Trial start? Should be interesting. He led the narcotics unit. People are saying. All right. After 6 hours elapsed between the defendant's arrest and his arraignment at Stoughton District Court, about 6 hours. During his, no, not really. It wasn't, I think it was like 4 hours, but okay. During his booking, the defendant was accorded his right to make a phone call, which I believe he made to his mother. That was at 9:52. Possibly by means.
How does he know that time so well? 9:52. Did you already go through this?
Of his conversation with his mother, or by other means, word of the defendant's arrest soon became public knowledge. And the phone calls came in to the booking station about Kearney's status. He's blaming the fact that Krusty Panties knew about the arrest on my mother, because apparently my mom called her. What?
Wow. That's not what that says at all. It's saying apparently your mom talked to people that were in your inner circle. And let me tell you something. What this means is that your inner circle has and always will be compromised.
Except I called my mom at 9:52 a.m. And Krusty tweets out that I've been arrested at 9:21 a.m. So that can't be right. When I arrived at the Stoughton District Court, the halls and immediate areas outside the courthouse appeared to be occupied by Kearney supporters, while the courtroom itself was largely occupied by supporters of Jennifer McCabe and the O'Keefe family. Yeah, how come they all knew? How did they get there first?
The same way that your mod chat got out, where it's showing that you literally created on November 19th, 2021, the most insane fabrication of evidence to try to get a no contact order and then witness intimidation stuff.
Turnover, Bama. Oh, so Bama is going to win the game. I got to get more water.
Okay.
Is that right? It's on the TV in there. From KP to me have been retrieved from the office computer system. And I understand have been provided to the defense discovery. Then why don't we have any emails from Tully asking Kate Peter where he can find the videos that she's.
He says there are none. Why would he need to know where to go to find your videos?
Sending him since he doesn't click on videos. I am advised that the links in some of those emails no longer work. I have done nothing to alter them. Right. to any online presentation, statements, or electronic communication by Mr.
How could he alter or make the links not work? That's the truth. The person who sent them, though, they could do something to them.
Kearney, my concern has always been to find and verify such information myself. I recognize no obligation or duty to click on every link and every unsolicited piece of information. The defense complains it has not been provided with any response to DL Tully, any response by DL Tully.
Now, this is he's going to answer this question that he has, which is, why don't we have any discovery of this?
Miss Peters' question.
They're just barking up the wrong branches right now to try to attack his case. But now I know why. Because they need to do everything and anything they can to get this fucker tossed.
About hot files in a now dead Dropbox file. There was no response.
Remember I was telling you guys about those Dropbox files and what people do? Okay, when you want to send something, you send it in Dropbox. Okay, it has everything to do with discovery, and that's how you can fuck around and, oh, I didn't open that. Oh, it's a Dropbox. Like, there's no... Woo!
Attorney Betterow offers as an ostensible fact that according to Tully, he relied upon information Miss Peter provided him before he edited Mr. Kearney's YouTube videos.
That's the motion that he made. Like, that's like the notion, like that's what he was trying to portray to the judge. You guys understand that, right? It's a very big part of this. And so I'm surprised that Aiden isn't saying, yeah, that's exactly what you did. That's exactly what happened here. Because of the fabrication of these videos, saying that
edited Mr. Kearney's YouTube videos. An ostensible fact that according to Tully, he relied upon information Miss Peter provided him before he edited Mr. Kearney's YouTube videos. And the editing is the renaming these clips. Edited Mr. Kearney's YouTube videos.
In support of Mark Betterow's affidavit, Attorney Betterow cites an affidavit of defense paralegal Courtney Healy, Defense Exhibit NN. Apart from any question as to the accuracy of Ms. Healy's affidavit, I call the court's attention to the fact that it makes no mention of Miss Peter, and neither does it state that I edited any photo or any video. I'm just blown away. I don't know what her...
Apart from any question as to the accuracy of Miss Healy's affidavit, I call the court's attention to the fact that it makes no mention of Miss Peter, and neither does it state that I edited any video. Although at the end of the day, the important question is the accuracy of information.
Exactly. Right here.
Presented to the grand jury, not how the information was gathered. No, that matters too.
No, it doesn't. Oh my God. Oh my God. He is so lost, man.
I agree with Mr. Betterow's contention that the Commonwealth had no reason to consult with or seek Miss Peters' input on what evidence should be presented. I did not do so. Right. At all. Right. Sure.
Why? Why would he need to? What are you talking about? In identifying relevant videos, I relied in significant part on the feedback from victims that came there as to which portions of Aidan Kearney's episodes had intimidating effect.
One must have a heart of stone not to laugh. Oh, you're laughing? I mean, but what's not true about it? Like, dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait till Kazi gets me on the stand. I am going to fucking annihilate him with.
He thinks he's testifying in his trial. Wow. Wow. I would love to ask Mark Betterow right now if Turtleboy is testifying at his trial.
Facts and just tell him everything I did and how awesome it is. Yeah, fuck you, MC Kazi G. I see you in the chat. Can't wait. The Commonwealth has had occasion to respond to such drivel. Like, this is so unprofessional, bro. To call it drivel in the past. with some reluctance, now does so again. Rather than reinvent the wheel, it quotes liberally from its response to the defendant's previous motion to dismiss. So he's just copying and pasting. Defendant is self-employed, supporting himself via a variety of internet presentations attack on grand jury proceedings already upheld by this court.
Okay, watch this.
Arguments he previously raised have been considered and decided and are settled. Arguments he failed to raise but could have are waived. So this is we knew this was going to be their option. This was going to be their defense to the mega motion. Was you guys already had a bite at the apple? You already had an Odell motion to dismiss.
That's what I've been saying. You've already done that. So the question is how did you miss it? How did you miss it? That's my question, is how was this missed? The stuff that you're claiming now, how did you miss it?
You should have.
I read Bradel's motion to dismiss again, and I think he did a good job as far as citing case law, but they're missing a couple points and they're not talking about them because that's going to be the points that go against the case law.
Brought these, like, we didn't bring up in the first motion to dismiss the whole thing with the titles. Why did we bring up the titles thing?
Why?
Because we didn't have the emails.
Wrong. You had the grand jury minutes, aka you had the grand jury testimony and transcripts. Okay, that means every single word that was said by anybody that's asking the questions and then anybody that's answering those questions. Okay, you also had the exhibits themselves, which when you would plug it on the thumb drive, it's going to show you what the grand jury saw. Okay, you do not need the emails. The emails have nothing to do with anything when it comes to that, what the grand jury was presented.
They withheld discovery from us. We didn't have the emails showing Krusty Pants' involvement in this.
How does Krusty Pants' involvement with any of this change the fact that how does that change the grand jury transcripts? It doesn't.
Sending them files that are just disappeared and shit like that. So how could we include that in our motion to dismiss if they intentionally withheld this for us? And by the way, was there any punishment for that? No.
Nope, you're wrong. What you need to do is if they filed this motion, the opposition 8 days later or whatever, your team needs to file a motion to strike. You file a motion to strike what they filed, and due to timeliness that they filed this X amount of days late. Okay. Period. And you strike it from the record. You strike their response. I don't understand. That's your play. That's what you're supposed to do.
You can just do whatever you want.
What do you mean? They're not doing whatever they want. You're going to prevent them.
In the Commonwealth. I mean, think of what they did in the Reed trial. Those videos of Brian Higgins at the Canton Police Department, they just didn't give them.
And guess what?
What if she was convicted?
And then guess what Auntie Bev said? Because it was a moot point, because it was, if Karen Reed would have been convicted, okay, it would have overturned it. It would have tossed the conviction. But that's not the case here. And do you want to be using this? Do you want these videos to be inadmissible? What do you want? You clearly want to be using them. Okay. And Alan Jackson didn't move for a motion to dismiss on the first trial with it. It's all about trial strategy. And that's what Auntie Bev said. Okay. And so here in your case, you're going to file a motion to dismiss, or you're not going to file a motion. You're going to strike their filing due to timeliness. He thinks that, they can just do whatever they want. They're just turning in a piece of paper. Like it's like school, like 8 days late. Strike it. Strike their filing.
And then you just didn't have them. Oh, oops. We forgot to give those to you.
Your case is not Karen Reed's case. Karen Reed was framed by the government. Turtleboy, you got outplayed, and I cannot believe you guys are playing a sick game, but you and Kate Peters have been playing a sick game. So Kate Peters beat you at a sick fucking game. None of this is a game. But you guys think fucking with people's lives is a game. Kate Peters found a way to, wow, you are violating these statutes. Here you go.
Oops. There you go. On February 14th, the defendant filed the motion to dismiss lack of probable cause. Okay. So we bring up that the grand jury heard Mello ultimately did not ask the grand jury to return an indictment against Kearney for illegally wiretapping Mr. Scanlon. Yeah. They did a whole day of testimony in which but they talked to Steve Scanlon about wiretapping, and then they never bring it up again. There was just to dirty me up.
That's what he thought. Okay. Well, then the affidavit of Cosgrove gets read, and Mello's included in that, but also you guys just saw Tully's, and now we know why they didn't proceed with that, because of where Scanlon was located.
All of the testimony of all grand jury witnesses, including
so they had all of this. They had all the testimony of the grand jury witnesses, including Detective Lieutenant Tully. Aidan Kearney had that. All of the instructions given or not given to the grand jury by Mello, and all questions and comments made by Mello, they had that. Aidan had that. All of the excerpts of Kearney's online media presentations introduced in evidence, and how they were identified on the thumb drives introduced as grand jury exhibits, he had. Put your thumb drive in, look at these videos, and see what comes up on the screen. And if it is not, if anything in that is changed, you have an argument. If that is just what it is, and it's just that portion of your video, you do not have an argument. None whatsoever. For a grand jury indictment. At your trial, if you think that they need to watch your live from start to finish in order to see who you really are and what your live is really about, make those arguments and present that.
Detective Tully, all of the instructions given or not given to the grand jury by Mello, and all questions comment by him. These are all issues we brought up. All of the expert.
No, these aren't. And then he explains this to his readers wrong, or his listeners wrong. These aren't all the issues that you brought up. This is them telling the judge, this is everything that you had.
Excerpts of Kearney's online media presentations introduced into evidence, and now how they were identified on the thumb drives introduced as grand jury exhibits. Yeah, you guys changed the titles of the YouTube presentations to bias the jury and make it seem like I was all about witness intimidation. Kearney originally told this court that the prosecutor impaired the integrity of the grand jury by misrepresenting facts and law. He specifically argued Mello's instructions to the grand jury were deficient, and he elicited improper opinion and hearsay. However, he did not bother to raise any argument concerning the absence of a wiretapping indictment alleging that Scanlon was a victim, and neither did he complain about the accuracy and completeness, editing, or titling of the video excerpts introduced as exhibits. Yeah, because we didn't get the emails. Undersigned counsel, I mean, can we just say we forgot? Like, bro, you passed this in 10 days late. Can we be like, we were going to pass it in we're going to pass it in 7 months later, because there's no deadlines anyway. You just pass it in whatever you want. On May 19th, having the benefit of both parties' memoranda, the copies of the grand jury minutes and copies of the online excerpts played for the grand jury by the Commonwealth, the court issued a comprehensive decision allowing the motion in part, but otherwise denying it. Neither party moved for reconsideration. Neither party sought interlocutory appeal. Now the defendant wants to do it all over again. Writing on Kearney's behalf, Federer has made the same arguments, having adduced various examples of alleged sins committed by Mr. Mello, some the same as presented by Attorney Bradel in the first motion to dismiss. He plucks a few different examples, but all of them were readily available in support of the defendant's position in round one. As one justice of this court has aptly put it, a motion is not a dry run, a dress rehearsal to come back. Okay. So then case law. You can watch Melanie Little, our brother counsel, for this. They could probably explain it better than I can. Not really my specialty. In his initial motion, the defendant did not attack, as he now does, any of the video evidence offered by the Commonwealth. For his present motion for the titles are all fucked up. For his present motion for reconsideration, he now claims that the prosecutor and Detective Tully deceived the grand jury by grouping the videos the Commonwealth offered as evidence of intent on a folder on the drive, exhibit labeled as intent, showing edited clips that allegedly deprived the grand jury of viewing Mr. Kearney's actual full episodes, and assigning titles to the episode clips that don't match him exactly. Although, as the Commonwealth will shortly develop, these arguments have been entirely waived by their omission from the first motion to dismiss. It first stoops to briefly address the substance of his newly raised claims concerning the videos. So he's like, okay, the substance is wrong, they're saying.
Okay, now.
Back tomorrow. This doesn't count. But okay. Is it Beckerberg? Okay, it's up. We're watching it.
Scratch tickets, each with a chance to
Expiration date.
that front she has spoke to. Those are some of the facts being used
Okay, this was an impromptu live in
against her. But Reed's parents and
2023.
thousands
There it is.
supporting her say there's so much more to this story that doesn't add up. She's from Taunton with a career in finance. He was a Boston cop from Braintree.
Really don't want to be in the picture.
Get over here. Karen Reed's parents say she and John O'Keefe became serious in 2019, right before the pandemic.
They just seem to be in a happy place, you know. Yeah.
And spending a lot of time together.
yes.
Yes.
Vacations together.
Yep.
Going out together.
If the relationship had become toxic by January 2022, as prosecutors allege, it's not apparent from this snapshot in time. At CF McCarthy's in Canton, they laugh and embrace during a night of heavy drinking.
they hate each
According
other
to
so
police,
much.
Karen would back over John and leave him for dead in a snowstorm 2 hours later. Prosecutors say it happened outside the Canton home of another Boston cop named Brian Albert.
Oh, they named
Karen
him.
says she dropped John off there for a get-together.
During your first discussions with Karen, did she believe she may have hit John? No.
Oh,
She
That's cool.
felt she struck something.
Okay.
She said, Dad,
Now publicly pushing back. A spokesperson tells me there was no conspiracy or cover-up.
Oh.
Such claims have been systematically refuted by evidence, including the
Oh.
medical examiners.
what appear to be
See, that's
digging
what I
in as
have.
this case moves in the direction of a heated trial. For 25 Investigates,
That
I'm
was
Ted
it?
Daniel.
that was it.
This is
That
a
was it.
Boston 25
That was,
weather
you
alert.
gotta be kidding me.
All right, we're
Ted
talking about the
Daniel, you
possibility of
freaking
some
joke.
strong storms.
You freaking joke, Ted Daniel. What a disgrace. That was it. That's literally, oh my goodness gracious. How long was that? 5 minutes? What an absolute disgrace. First of all, they didn't even talk about my role in it. I know it's a fact. It's like Ted Daniel, remember the
What's your role in it? Let's see. This was on the date here.
guy that walked away from Jen McCabe, tried to ask her a question and just walked away? That was it.
August 7th, 2023.
I wonder if he asked them.
Okay. Okay, so Ted Daniels right next to Turtleboy walking alongside. When he puts the microphone, he's got his blue shirt on outside the courtroom. And he's like, hey, remember Ted Daniels walking away? Like, that's what he's referencing. Okay.
Ted Daniel, remember the guy that walked away from Jen McCabe, tried to ask her a question and just walked away? That was it. I wonder if he asked them, like, was Turtleboy involved in this? What do you think of Turtleboy's involvement in that?
Okay, so Karen Reed's parents do a sit down with Ted Daniels and not Turtleboy. Karen Reed's brother talks to Ted Daniels in a sit down, not Turtleboy, publicly. Okay. And this comes out. This was a month and a half after the rolling rally. Okay. The rolling rally at the end of June.
Yeah. Interesting. But okay. So I'll just tell you right now. I spoke on the phone today with Brian Lucky Laughlin.
Okay. Boom. Right here. Well, now let me go ahead and scoop mainstream media. I'm going to double scoop mainstream media. Okay. So, hey, I guess I'll just tell you right now. I talked with Brian Lucky Laughlin. All right. Like what? Okay.
I had a 6-minute conversation with him, or not today. Maybe it wasn't today. I had a 6-minute conversation with Brian Lucky Laughlin. So we'll leave it at that. And I have he spilled it all to me. And I've got it all. And it's coming out. So you keep talking. We're going to hold, that's what a real award. First day back from vacation, not bragging or anything. First day back. That's what I have. So stay tuned for that, because I spoke with the man himself, and I'll give you the cliff notes right here.
Just like he was in competition with Kate Peter, now he puts himself into competition with Ted Daniel. On August 7th, 2023, Turtleboy, talking to his audience, calls Ted Daniel a disgrace. What about my role? When Turtleboy does not get credit, he goes live and loses it. And so much so that he's going to, not sure if he talked to Lucky at the time and said, hey, I'm putting your name out there publicly or not. That's clearly one of his sources, but it is all about a scoop. Lucky is the plow driver. We all know who Lucky is right now. But August 7th, 2023, Aiden outs this. Now, I have a question for Aiden. Are you sitting here saying that Karen Reed and her team did not know who Lucky Laughlin was? Lucky had already cooperated with the FBI, he says in this spat. Again, he is in competition with everyone covering the story. Okay, he wants to talk about the Ford Edge at the 16:30 mark. He responds to a live commenter at that 16:30 mark about it. They ask him, have I talked to neighbors at the 18-minute mark? He is letting everybody know that the FBI is involved. And he's asking people, does anyone have any questions? If I was Turtleboy, this is what I would be looking at and trying to explain to people, that a live broadcast is very, very different than a scripted, pre-recorded boom. Okay. Very much so in the fact that when I see a live comment, I could possibly highlight it. I could possibly see one that I don't highlight. And that's something that I would then answer or something to that nature. You need to pay attention to every single piece of evidence that they are going to use against you and literally dissect it. And when I say dissect it, you need to dissect it with somebody that not turtle riders or volunteers. You need to sit down with your team of these experts and investigators and all this 6-figure money that you've paid. Okay. If you plan on going out and being free man once your trial is done. I don't help people that bully people. I don't help people take advantage of other people. And I am just so glad that I took the past weekend and yesterday. I canceled every single live I had yesterday to do another 10 hours of research. And I cannot wait for Karen Reed to talk about what the heck she truly endured by ever speaking to Turtleboy and how he 1000% put her in jeopardy. Turtleboy doesn't get it, or maybe he does. I went ahead and looked at the in the 88 pages, you outlined and put in a block of, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and you listed the episodes that were used as exhibits against you. Okay. Do you know that those episodes, in the most of them, with the exception of the rolling rally, but they were building a case against you. And then after they arrested you and you came out in October, from October, November, and December, they then continued to use stuff that you did and said, because stuff that was given to the grand jury when they came back to indict you. Because I always wondered, why wasn't there a preliminary hearing in Turtleboy's case? You know, Turtleboy was arrested in October. You have 15 days if you're out as a free person to be a preliminary hearing. Okay. Or you can be indicted. Well, I was like, why was he indicted, you know, so much later? Right. Well, this has to go to a lot with them dropping charges, how they wanted to go about this. And that's how the Massachusetts State Police or the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, how anybody wants to go about going at you to charge you. Okay. And who they use as somebody that's, oh, this person brought me information or whatever. He literally thinks that the government conspired and planted and fabricated evidence like the Karen Reed case. Newsflash, that did not happen at all. At all. At all. July 15th, 2023, you did a live show. You show no receipts. At the 141 mark and 38 seconds, you're calling people on a live. You call it the 8:59 and 13-second mark. Your intent is to ask questions, you say. Mark the live show with the bookmark, titled cards, Jen McCabe call logs, and making calls. So I went back and looked at stuff that was used against you. Okay. Well, I would be showing that I was reading off a public filing and I was trying to get an interview, right? What was my intent? To ask questions, right? Only problem is that when you went to Juliana Nagel's house, you never knocked on the door. So you cannot be trying to go ask somebody questions without going up and knocking on the door. You do not do that at Juliana Nagel's house. In fact, you use the term pressure. You want to get her neighbors involved in the pressure, to put pressure on her. You call a number that you do not know, and then you come to realize, you're like, who is Kelly M at the 154 mark and 12 seconds? You let them know, this is what I would be using in your favor. You tell Kelly M that you are on live to tape. Then you ask a question. She asks to be left alone, and you say, yes, see, I didn't want to bother her. You need to use that to your advantage. But then you say, if she's not with them, I don't want to pester her. That crushes you because you have no problem pestering people that are with them. That is unethical. That lacks integrity. You report and handle people differently based on your position and what you think theirs might be. I also think in the live broadcast, you do a lot of thinking out loud. You have a discussion with yourself on a live broadcast and you're discussing things with your live chatters. I would be using that. You also say, I'll text her tomorrow and I'll apologize. And you're saying, I would be getting that woman, Kelly M, to see if she would be considered being a witness to your, to show your intent. Because did you truly follow up and apologize to her? Can you show that you apologized to her the next day? That your intent was not to bother her and that I'm sorry? However, if you did not follow up and actually text her and say that you were sorry and that you didn't mean to bother her, and that I can edit that out of my show, then that can also be then used against you. You leave a message at the 2-minute mark or 2 hour and 4 minute mark. There's a Maureen. You call the voicemail. Was on the call log, and you're trying to figure out the context of a phone call. You're screwing up all the names, and you're just like, oh, this is all screwing me up. I wanted to go through it on a live broadcast to talk about it with my viewers. That's what I'd be saying. Now I want to move to your October 11th, 2023 broadcast. Let's see. History.
Their tactic was basically to slut shame this woman and temporary ex parte order on her. Krusty Panties violated it on she does like an online thing, YouTube, and she violated it, and the Boston police filed a criminal complaint against her because she spoke directly to the victim on a YouTube stream. You can't do that.
Right here. You know that you're not supposed to be speaking directly to people on a YouTube channel. Because what could happen?
Of the boss. Clearly, they're not afraid of their bosses. And the fact that the lieutenant who's really should have come, down on this from the beginning is the one that personally came to my house and had the audacity to put cuffs on me. I mean, that's going to be a problem for them. It's too bad. It's too bad that, I'll never trust the police again. I will never. I will trust individual police officers, but I won't trust the institution of the police. No way. I will question everything they do from now on, and rightfully so. They have these, and it's not all the other police's fault. It's these cops' fault. They have violated the public trust, and the other cops should be furious about that because they made your job a lot harder. They made it hard. Like, people aren't going to trust you because of them. They're going to associate you with them. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Anyway, so where was I going with that? Oh, the turtle chat here. So, so on Thursday, I have a hearing on Thursday. So Krusty Panties, the person who threatened David Yannetti, who somehow was given
right there. He wants everybody to hate Krusty Panties, and he does that by saying, oh, Krusty Panties, the person that threatened David Yannetti. That's to enrage people.
Given access to my phone records by the police 2 hours afterwards, quite clearly.
Okay. I was totally blown away that he's making a comment that Krusty Panties was given, listen to this.
David Yannetti, who somehow was given access to my phone records by the police 2 hours afterwards, quite clearly.
I don't know if he forgets what he does, but I'm just going to highlight this. I have no comment to this, but nobody's doing Turtleboy any favors by continuing to live in Never Never Land. I can promise you that. The Ahana 3. But according to Turtleboy, he believes that Kate Peters, somehow the Massachusetts State Police gave Kate Peters his phone call log.
She has a trial date in Boston at West Roxbury District Court, I believe at 9 a.m. She has been, for the last, I don't know, for about like a year or so, she harassed, threatened, and stalked a woman by the name of Lauren who I was friends with, I am friends with, and, you know, for the sole crime of being associated with me, posted her address, sent someone to her house, posted pictures of her that she did not have permission
This is what you guys do to each other.
in a post, and literally said that she was doing so simply because of her association with me.
Remember, I always told you guys who the best trolls are in the world? You have to troll yourself. If you troll yourself, then you are a victim. I can't possibly be doing this. Look at what they're doing and saying about me. Look at this account. Look at this. Look at this.
So Lauren got an order on her in like last August, not this previous, like August 2022. 2 days after she got the temporary ex parte order on her, Krusty Panties violated it. On she does like an online thing, YouTube, and she violated it, and the Boston police filed a criminal complaint against her because she spoke directly to the victim on a YouTube stream. You can't do that. Then 2 weeks later, the 2-part hearing was held, and she had some girl boss attorney, and she tried their tactic was basically to slut shame this woman and push it all on me, which made them, it was the worst defense I've ever seen in court. Elise, what was her name? Elise Gershon? Was that the lady's name? Girl boss attorney? It was not good. And the judge granted a full year order and also pointed out, like Lauren's attorney at the hearing pointed out, Judge, the Boston police have filed a criminal complaint against her. They found probable cause. They charged her. She filed a motion to dismiss. It was denied. I would go to her court dates to ask her about this, to question her about this. And then she brought...
Literally an hour ago, we just heard, why would she ever be coming to like the arraignment? Like who has nothing better to do than just to do what? He went to ask her questions about this, right? So this is what they do. So my part of my investigating was to find out what was Turtleboy doing before Karen Reed? Because is it important? Well, yeah, because this is why he was arrested. He was arrested because of somebody that he is in a rivalry with, and this is what they do to each other, did to him. And what I say did to him, all she's doing is reporting reporting what he's doing. And the difference is that according to the state or Commonwealth, these people are all witnesses. And I think I found a loophole for him. But why would I ever help somebody that literally bullies people? Why would I help somebody that fabricates evidence? Why would I help somebody that has literally inserted themselves in the Karen Reed case? And the motive, the intent to make money, to be famous. He says it. I want to be the center of attention. And you did it in the Karen Reed murder trial.
Some thug crackhead with her, crackhead Andrew Luck. He assaulted me on video, and now he's being charged with a crime. Also
Cop caller.
Known as witness intimidation, by the way. When you bring
Also known as witness intimidation, by the way. Listen to this.
Video, and now he's being charged with a crime. Also known as witness intimidation, by the way. When you bring someone to court with you and you physically assault somebody on the courthouse stairs to try to keep them from going to court, it's called witness intimidation. Yeah. So
why were you a witness in the case? So the date of this is ridiculous. The date of this broadcast, couldn't even believe this. October 22nd, 2023. He had already been arrested. Okay.
He's being charged with a crime. She's got, like most people would have just taken a quaff and just moved on, but she wants to take it to trial. And she also picked up another charge. The Stoughton police now are also charging this individual, Krusty Panties, with violating an order because she was at my hearing, and so is the victim, Lauren. When that happens, you must leave. She has to leave. And unlike Lauren had a reason to be there. I know Lauren.
So you brought Lauren. You had Lauren go there, right? You had Lauren go there so that she couldn't be there, right? And then what does Krusty Panties do?
This one doesn't know any parties involved and is just there because they're obsessed with me. And it's just like, so she,
Exactly what, I mean, this is just, I feel like this is 2021 all over again.
she picked up, so she has, long story short, she has her trial on Thursday. And
He just got arrested, you guys.
anyone can go to this if they'd like to support Lauren there. Again, this is the official spokesperson for the Alberts is on trial Thursday for violation of a harassment prevention order repeatedly in West Roxbury. It's all open to the public. Anyone can go. And I would encourage you to do so. Now, I will not be there because I have court on Thursday. So this is an announcement. I have my first hearing in the matters involving the whatever number of felony charges against me out of Stoughton District Court. Except our hearing is going to be in Norfolk Superior Court. It will not be heard by Auntie Bev. It will be heard by a judge by the name of Krupp, who Krupp was the initial judge in the Karen Reed case, or one of the, it was before Canoni, BC, before Canoni. And hold on one sec. I'm going to bring up my docket real quick. I have my own docket now. This is cool.
Right there. I have my own docket now. This is cool. Wow. Absolutely. Wow, Lana. Really, when you're saying stuff, Lana, and then you back it up with receipts. Yeah, this is what he wanted to have happen. He needed to get arrested. He wants to make everything about him.
BC, before Canoni. And hold on one sec. I'm going to bring up my docket real quick. I have my own docket now. This is cool. Kearney.
Then
All
the
right.
stay away orders here.
So let's see what the official docket says. So the docket's, it's fine. We're good. All right. Anyway, guys, so I have a hearing and it's for bail review because we need to review like these stay away orders. They prevent me from doing my job. My job is to investigate and, you know, protest. And I mean, I don't know what my official role is. I'm a journalist, but I'm also an activist and I'm also somewhat of a satirist. And I don't know, I do a lot of things. But
He doesn't know what his role is in his own criminal defense.
I can't do a lot of those things with this order in place because they, you know, many of the people who have orders on me are the primary subjects of my award-winning journalism. So it makes it hard for me to continue to do that. So that needs to be revised. And there's other things.
How does advocating for Karen Reed have anything to do with that?
It's like what if I'm in the Boston Garden and one of them's there? Like, is that okay? Like, what am I supposed to do then? Like, how does that work? Like a lot of this shit, like the judge said it was overly broad on purpose, which you're not allowed to do. So
Correct. So all they're going to do is tell you that's like 100 feet or 200 feet or 500 feet.
But they did it anyway, and it is what it is. So anyway, you're all welcome to go to her court hearing. Because the only reason she's relevant at all in this is that she is an official spokesperson for the Alberts and the McCabe's. And
He's encouraging people to go to Kate Peters' hearing. The only reason that she's relevant in any of this is because she's a spokesperson for the Alberts and the McCabe's. That's his spin. Now, what I believe here is that Turtleboy and Kate Peters have had an ongoing feud for a long time. And it does not change what the charges are. Okay. It doesn't matter who brought them up. Unless they were fabricated, right? Kind of what I showed you guys at the beginning of the video. But that's not what happened here. Okay. That's just not what happened here. And here we go. I'm going to give you a couple pieces of free advice because now this just made me laugh.
And has threatened David Yannetti that we saw this week, and that and clearly is getting information directly from the Massachusetts State Police or indirectly, doesn't matter. But and
he thinks that Kate Peters is clearly getting information from the Massachusetts State Police. No. Your inner circle clearly has been compromised, was compromised back then, clearly is still compromised, but it doesn't matter, right?
Anyway, we'll be talking about this. So thank you, Sema. Next turtle chat is from Danny, sends $25. Says OG Turtle Rider from day one.
Yeah, at the 42
And
mark.
they delegated people to do assignments.
Now,
And over half the people just didn't do their assignment. And this is why
this is, you guys, we're going to give out assignments.
clip and you hear the context, you're like, oh, they're completely misrepresenting what he's saying.
Okay, here we go.
A bunch of clips from YouTube shows out of context and played them out loud. And some of them sound like ominous. I still haven't heard anything illegal in them, but some of them sound like ominous, like I sound scary almost. But if you actually play the entire clip and you hear the context, you're like, oh, they're completely misrepresenting what he's saying. So that's kind of half of it, is the out of context clips. But also the other half that shouldn't be ignored is that I have more times than I can count made statements on this show and during live streams in which I make it clear that I come in peace and I am not a threat to anyone.
Okay. He's misguided. He thinks that if I'm not trying to have physical words to fight you, okay, that it's freedom of speech. That is correct. But you have to go to 13B, which is what he's being charged with. 13B has to do with the fact that if these are witnesses, the witness intimidation, if these are witnesses, then you can't do certain things. Okay. So what's the intent? And the intent is what? To talk to these witnesses to do what?
The exact opposite of what the state is claiming I am. The state is claiming that I am trying to harass or threaten these people in order to obstruct justice, to prevent a judicial proceeding from moving forward.
Now, mind you, this was all before what he's talking about on this live. He was not indicted by a grand jury yet. This live, he gets indicted. So this live they use to indict him. They did not have a grand jury proceeding yet. This is in October. Okay.
When in fact, it's actually the opposite. I am encouraging them to speak the truth to power. And I am doing I'm encouraging them not to hide. Right. And so it's the exact opposite that has happened here. And so I asked a team of people to come together and find clips. Now,
I've asked a team of people to come together to find clips. Was that assembly like you did with Clarence's Facebook account, where it's like, we're going to create lies? Because now I don't know, now because of how he was, and what he's done in the past, now he's created a team to help him do.
I want to thank the people that organized this. Okay. They put a lot of time into it and I appreciate that. And they delegated people to do assignments.
Okay, the only assignment that would need to be done is to take the exhibits that were used and the evidence that you have, and you have to go through the discovery and you have to go through the exhibits that were used for what they plan on using. This is not go out and find X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I mean, you can try to use that for cross-examination, okay? But good luck, Chuck. No, you need to poke at the evidence that's there, and that's the way that you would go about this.
And about over half the people just didn't do their assignment. And this
so this team that got put together, he's like, over half of you motherfuckers just didn't do your assignments.
This is why we can't count. Like, this is why I only trust certain people. Like, if you're going to volunteer to help on an important matter, then help. Then do it. Or just don't volunteer. I know it probably feels good to come forward, like, I'll help. And then you don't do it. It's like, well, then you're fucking us over. So don't do that. That's not cool. So I need people that are actually dedicated to it. And this is why I don't like, I get a million people offering message. You know, it's like, I can't, it's too many people. It's a weird situation. I don't know what to do. I have so many people offering to help. And then you start signing things and then people just don't do it. Or people don't follow directions.
Now watch these directions.
Like, so what I was looking for, and a lot of people did do this. I was looking for, I want it short and sweet. Give me timestamps where I am saying things in which I'm making it clear that I'm not a threat. That's it. Instead, I got entire transcripts of like entire shows. Like they just copied and pasted.
When I saw this, I'm fucking dead. Dude, he just is on a live literally 2 days ago talking about we need the entire fucking live. Okay, play it all. I don't need these little clips.
It's like, no. I'm trying to save time here. Like that's the whole purpose.
Judicial economy.
So thank you for that. Where I am saying things in which I'm making it clear that I'm not a threat. That's it. Instead, I got entire transcripts of like entire shows. Like they just copied and pasted it. It's like, no. I'm trying to save time here. Like that's the whole purpose of this. So thank you for trying to help people who did. And I do appreciate that. But again, if you're going to volunteer, please actually do it. That's all I'm asking. So anyway, because now I kind of got to start from scratch with a lot of these, but I took it upon myself to do a bunch of these on my own. And so I'm going to go through now and I'm going to play some of the greatest clips here of me doing the exact opposite of what they claim I was doing. Let's go.
I'm dead.
Oh, and LTL too is doing great. Yeah. I mean, has he done more streams? He had me on the other day. Is he doing more streams on this? Great job as well. There's a lot of channels covering this stuff. So check him out as well. And the Young Jerks, they do a great job as well. There's a lot of channels covering this stuff. So, but the glare is just wild. He just sits there and drinks a fucking pot of coffee, like black, I think, and just rips butts. It's fucking wild till like midnight. It's funny. All right. Anyway, let's watch some of these. My greatest hits. Okay, here we go. And you're no different from them. You're just as bad as them, except you hide behind the thin blue line. Those people all hated police and proudly wore it. You masquerade as a police supporter, but you're not. You're a cop killer. And all the blue lights in front of your fucking house, which I'll be back. Trust me. And that's not a threat. That's investigative journalism we're doing here, folks. I'm going to come at the most awkward, embarrassing times. I'm going to embarrass you in front of your kids. Your kids are going to know all your.
Wow, right there. He plays his own stuff right here, and that's what the statute is against. Right there. I'm embarrass you in front of your kids. That's exactly what the statute. I mean, I cannot believe that he did this. He did.
Kids friend. Keyword. Not a threat. I made it very clear there. Not a threat. I'm going to ask you questions in public places, which is perfectly legal. A lot of people might say that's,
No, it's not. Not with the wiretapping. Do you know your own laws? This is not legal. You cannot put a camera in somebody's face in Massachusetts with audio. It doesn't matter if they can see it or not. You're not allowed to without their consent. It doesn't matter that you can see it and they knew that I was filming or anything like that. You cannot do this. Listen, 3 of my lives were canceled yesterday because of the extra research I did. And this isn't about threat. This is about what your intent is. You just said what your intent is. I'm going to come and embarrass you in front of your children. Okay? And Mr. Bradle, I think, has way better arguments. Mr. Kearney never told the Alberts to tell the truth, but rather addressed the audience and brought awareness to Albert's involvement in the John O'Keefe murder.
A lot of people have said they're uncomfortable with me doing that, and that's fine. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, okay? But what you can't argue is that it's illegal. Like, it's not. like that is the issue right now. Is not whether whether or not it's ethical, or whether or not it's moral, or whether or not it's, this should be like, you don't talk to people at lacrosse.
The question is it illegal? Okay. And this is what the
games, right? We're only debating here whether or not it is illegal. And clearly it's not. I'm like, dude, it's not a threat. So there's one. Well, here's another one. And this is a message that someone sent me that one of the victims sent. I mean, they're obviously liking it. A turtle rider sent that to me. And I guess that was the message, that using this as an opportunity to try to, pass it along to authorities. Like, I'm going to go kind of like when you call the cops when somebody shows up and tries to order a chicken parm, something like that. Like, it's similar to that.
Chris, owner D&E Pizza Restaurant in Canton, Massachusetts, Chris testified on the stand that on at least 3 occasions, Kearney traveled to Canton and stood outside of D&E Pizza with signs accusing Chris of being part of the conspiracy to cover up the O'Keefe's death. Grand jury transcript, December 14, 2023. On one of these occasions, Kearney, his cameraman, and some of his followers showed up with signs and proceeded to yell at oncoming traffic that Chris and his son Colin are murderers and that D&E Pizza serve blood in their pizza. At one point, Kearney stops what he is saying, turns around to see an elderly woman getting into her vehicle, points at the D&E Pizza, and then proceeds to tell her, "Don't get the pizza. It's not good. You won't like it. I'm telling you, it's not good because the guy, he killed a man. They killed a man. Maybe a couple, actually." End quote. Grand jury transcripts, December 14, 2023, page 7. Grand jury exhibit, Kearney outside D&E Pizza. On another occasion, Kearney and approximately 30 of his followers stood outside of D&E Pizza from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m., the busiest time of the day. Grand jury transcript, December 14th, 2023 at page 12. Again, Kearney and his followers are holding signs calling Chris and Colin murderers. While protesting, Kearney approached customers as they left D&E Pizza and asked them why they would give money to that murderer. Grand jury transcripts, December 14, 2023, page 12. Chris testified that Kearney's actions made him feel uneasy and unsettled. Grand jury transcript, December 14, 2023, page 13. He further testified that his business has greatly suffered due to Kearney's actions. But they're going to have to show that. So I would start getting receipts, asking for receipts of where D&E Pizza is showing that they aren't making any money, or show that they are making money, or that it's the same, that they did not suffer any economic harm, because that's part of the statute, the economic harm. Chris is also a member of the Canton Select Board. You can go ask people questions. You can demand that they tell the truth. You're allowed to stand outside and protest and tell people that with normally this wouldn't be an issue, but they are witnesses in a case. And so therefore extra things happen. He's making it seem like that what he's doing is to just a random Joe Schmo. And I think I found a loophole here, but again, I'm closing my mouth right now because I have no idea if I should be helping somebody that my hours of research have shown that, geez, what the hell is this guy? What is he doing?
In your fucking pants, as you should be. Ask Monica Cannon Grant. Ask Kylie Kirkpatrick. Ask Leah Genduso. Go down the line of people who I have held accountable and whose lives have severely changed and been charged with crimes as a result of my reporting.
Exactly. The result of your reporting has charged people with crimes. Well, the result of Kate Peters' reporting has charged you with crimes. How is this any different, Mr. Kearney? And the answer is, you can sit there and you can spin it, but there's only one answer, and that is not different. Her reporting led to you getting charges. Her going and, hey, you might want to take a look at this. Hey, Her talking to the McCabe's, I don't care if she's met with them 50 million times. That's not a crime. Now, if they fabricated evidence against you and manipulated evidence or conspired to frame you for things that you didn't do, that's a crime.
You're next, bitch. Context there.
Context.
Again, listen to that one more time. Listen to the people I'm naming.
Look
Your
at
fucking
he literally went and found these own clips, and this is exactly what he's arguing in his motion to dismiss, that you can get context out of just that sentence. This is absolutely crazy. This is delusional. Okay, these what ifs or what about, great. I don't care that Chris Albert is doing that. If you live in Canton, go file a police report every time you walk by the fucking pizza shop. That's not what this is about. And it's people like this that aren't staying on topic with, this is what Aidan Kearney has done. And if you want to help Aidan Kearney and you are a turtle rider and you are a fan of his, then pointing the finger and saying, well, hey, but this guy does this, but this guy does this. Okay. And how does that change the facts of the matter? That's called deflection. And that's not going to win in a courtroom because that's irrelevant material and it's not coming in. You guys have seen the Karen Reed case, haven't you? But look at this. He picked this little clip to show and to say what with?
It's as you should be.
You should
Ask
be shitting your
Monica
pants.
Cannon Grant. Ask Kylie Kirkpatrick. Ask Leah Genduso. Go down the line. I'm saying you're shitting your pants as you should be. That was the quote that I said there. And I'm referring to people that I believe will be getting arrested or indicted in the future for their involvement in murdering John O'Keefe. And I say, and ask Monica Cannon Grant. Ask Kylie Kirkpatrick. Both of them are facing felony charges as a result of my relentless reporting.
Mm-hmm.
So that is not a threat like the two people I name right there.
Exactly. Because of your reporting, people got charges. Because of Kate Peters reporting, you got charges. That's my point.
Kylie Kirkpatrick and Monica Cannon Grant are both being charged with felonies as a direct result of my reporting. So that is I'm not threatening to hurt anyone. I'm saying that my reporting is going to land you in jail, is going to land you with charges. It's like very clear. When I name those two people, the context of that is very important.
And the context is that, hey, go and ask them. Yep, if Aidan Kearney writes about you, you catch charges. Okay. Were they doing something illegal? Were they violating Massachusetts state law? Were they violating wherever it is that they lived? Were they doing criminal acts? And you pointed it out? You exposed it? Okay. So what did Kate Peter do?
I didn't beat up Monica Cannon Grant or Kylie Kirkpatrick. I'm not a threat to either of them in that regard. Of people who I have held accountable and whose lives have severely changed and been charged with crimes as a result of my reporting. You're next, bitch. So again, if they just play that "you're next, bitch," like that sounds bad. But play the entire thing. You're next at what? You're next in.
That's not even what's going to be coming out. You're next, bitch. That's not even. Your next, bitch. Jesus. That's not even the problem.
Getting indicted. Like context matters. Again, I could use better language for sure.
It has nothing to do with the language. You can tell all these people that they are any words you want to use. That's not the problem. Your freedom of speech to talk about these people, that's not the problem. These people are considered, you look at read the statute.
Would not sound as bad in a courtroom if it
supporting Karen Reed and exercising your First Amendment that the government framed her. That people that are citizens in this community help the government frame them or her. You didn't get arrested ever for saying that.
It's read out loud.
I'm not of the opinion that the First Amendment is at stake here.
In context, but I shouldn't have to censor myself because the state will act in bad faith and take comments that I make out of context intentionally for the purpose of charging me with a felony with the intent of silencing me, essentially. And shout out to MLS too, went on his show the other day. Great, man. There's a lot of good lawyer shit on YouTube. And I'll tell you one thing, just from watching the MLS analysis, making law simple analysis of it, even when I wasn't on there too, like the content that you can get on YouTube, anything you can get from any. I'm going to show up to their kids' football games. Michael Morrissey, who does not have a stay away order on me yet, I feel like that's coming, but he has this is me calling and leaving a voicemail on his answering machine. I think it's okay to protect those who do. So I've taken your, advice into consideration about leaving them alone, and I've elected not to. Instead, I'm actually going to do the opposite. I'm going to keep asking them questions. I'm going to show up to their kids' football games. I'm going to be everywhere that they go, and I'm going to do the same with you. So I know you don't like it when people come to your house, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's not a threat. I'm an award-winning journalist. I'm just there to ask questions about.
He thinks that matters. Again, I'm reading straight from the judge's what the judge is saying here. And the judge is saying that this discussion the defendant's constitutional challenge, the First Amendment applicable to the states through the 14th Amendment prohibits the enactment of laws abridging the freedom of speech. He goes through all of that. But this principle is not absolute, goes through that case law. Then they bring up, the judge does, and says that the general laws. So 13A provides whoever with the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice or with the intent of influencing any judge, juror, witness, or court officer in the discharge of his duty, pickets or parades in or near a building housing a court of the Commonwealth, or in or near a building or residence occupied or used by such judge, juror, witness, or court officer shall be punished. This is for the picketing. That's 13A provides this. Aiden argues that the the 13A is unconstitutional on its face because it is overbroad and encroaches upon non-criminal speech. Okay. Specifically, he contends that because GL 268-13A reaches speech that is neither a true threat nor fighting words, the statute is unconstitutional both on its face and as applied to him. So you're basically saying that you want to change some statutes in Massachusetts. That's what that is. Okay. Next. We're going to go to 13B. Well, we'll continue on with what he's talking about as far as 13A goes, but it is undisputed that the Commonwealth has a compelling government interest in protecting the orderly administration of justice and ensuring that witnesses in criminal proceedings are insulated from harassing, intimidating, and threatening conduct that could deter them from testifying. Okay? Now, in my lovely research, I said to myself, wow, holy shit. Adam Lally called every single person to the stand in trial one. Why? Trial one happened after the indictment of Turtleboy. Turtleboy was indicted in 2023. The first trial happened in 2024. Adam Lally was instructed, in my personal opinion, that all of these people had to be a witness in this case Otherwise, there is no such witness intimidation if they are not witnesses in this case. Hence walks in then why all these people were called to the stand. Trial 1. All this repetitive crap. All these people are witnesses, right? Trial 2. Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts. Only 2 people to testify. General laws C20 268 13A is nearly tailored to serve that interest. The statute does not categorically prohibit picketing and parading in or near a courthouse or a witness's residence. Rather, it prohibits picketing or parading in or near one of those locations if done with the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice, or with the intent to influence a witness. And that is what you are up against. It has nothing to do with fighting. It has nothing to do with fighting words. It has everything to do with what the intent was. And trust me, I've gone through the notes I have and clips and how I know that I would attack this and how I would be involved if this was me. I put myself in Turtleboy's shoes, how I would be involved with my defense lawyers. And I wouldn't be doing any of this. But would I be using my time with? Okay. Karen Reed. How much time do you think she spent with her attorneys? Okay. At the end of the day, Turtleboy was not set up in how he initially received any of his charges. Okay. I don't believe that he was framed by the government. I believe that, like how he knows how to weaponize certain statutes, that I learned how he knows how to do it by my research. They've been doing it for a long time. He knows how to troll. He's trolled people. He's fabricated evidence in the past. And here, a person that is his rival, this is what they do. And she got him, or what did I say? Got him or helped, or she told the police about what he's doing and that, hey, these people are witnesses over here. Hello? Oh, they are. These people were going to the hearings for John O'Keefe. They were showing up to the hearings. They were sitting there. And then he gets on the stairs and says that they don't come anymore because of him. Because we've shamed them. We've shamed them. They're not coming here anymore. Exactly. Because of you, they're not coming there anymore. Kearney is charged under GLC 26-8-13A for his actions related to the rally. That's how 13A applies to you. He contends that during the rally, he was engaged in lawful assembly, utilizing lawful speech, and did so in a traditional public forum. The court is not persuaded for 2 reasons. First, contrary to Kearney's contention, the Commonwealth is permitted to regulate protected speech and expressive conduct so long as the regulation passes strict scrutiny. As discussed in section GLC 26813A, GLC 213B, pass strict scrutiny. So thus, even if the statute permits him to be charged while engaged in protective speech, it does not make the statute unconstitutional as applied to him. And that's Commonwealth v. Johnson. Second, it has never been deemed an infringement of freedom of speech or press to make a course of conduct illegal merely because the conduct was in part initiated, evidenced, or carried out by means of language either spoken, written, or printed. With respect to the rally, it could be concluded that the purpose of Kearney's speech was to interfere with, obstruct, or impede the administration of justice, or to influence the witnesses in the Reed case. And that's why all of them were called to the stand. And then none of them except for two were called to the stand in the second case. And in the second case, she was acquitted. Do you understand that? In organizing the rally, Kearney's choice of location were the witnesses' homes, a location that has long been recognized as an individual's safe haven. As noted, GL 26813A does not prohibit all picketing and parading. It merely prohibits such activity when done in or near a residence or witnesses, keyword there, witnesses, residence, and with specific criminal intent. You're going to have to show that your intent was not criminal. They're going to have to show that your intentions were criminal. Right? That's how you want to look at it. Like, they have to show that you had criminal intent. Criminal intent. Why would you ever testify? You're never testifying in this case. I think if you testify, it's the biggest mistake you will ever make in your entire life. You are innocent until proven guilty, Mr. Kearney. Do you understand that? I believe in our constitutional rights to remain silent. I believe in our constitutional rights, due process. You are innocent until proven guilty. They have to prove your criminal intent. And that is beyond a reasonable doubt. I know I hold the loophole. I know I hold it. We'll see you on the next one.